All right, cool. Where's the chat? Here's the chat. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope you're all doing well. I hope that you're not very cold. Morning, everyone. How's everyone? Right, okay. I notified everyone that we started it. Very hot in Durban, South Africa. Okay. It's summer over there. Cool stuff. Here it's not that too bad. What's the temperature today? Today it's 17 degrees. 17. Shiny, no rain. That looks good. Yeah, not bad. Can't complain. Yeah, it's pleasant, not bad. 35 in Tennessee, USA. That must be 35 Fahrenheit. That almost zero to us. Oh dear, it's freezing over there. Cool. Right. Hello, Jane. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm okay.
Good.
Right,
I'm
okay.
excited for this morning.
Good. I'm glad. Um, we're gonna have a brief look over the markets. Right, we're gonna see what's going on. I would like to speak about a little bit high time frames. You know that I like high time frames because high time frames keep our emotions a little bit intact, so to say, and we don't panic. Right, so this is Bitcoin today. You can see my screen, right? I hope you do. Good. Right, okay, so this is Bitcoin. So let's go back and have a look on the weekly. Right, let's have a look on the weekly. Don't be scared now on the weekly. Here we are. I'm going to remove that resistance line there. I'm going to put it back later, no worries. Right. Okay, so the two things that I wanted to discuss here. I'm going to remove that warning sign there. We can see that Bitcoin is doing sideways action, right? It's in a range. We know that. It is in a range. And it's giving us some spikes to the up and some spikes to the down. Okay, we know that. You know why it's happening? Because the market makers are controlling the markets and they want to make sure that all the high leverage are being shaken out. Also, when we touched that area, we knew exactly what was going on, why it got pushed down, because of that order block to the far left, right? Um, and also, I got stochastic RSI. While price action is ranging, we got stochastic RSI dropping, right? And that was a little bit of worrying. It's like sort of like a divergence. You can't have price action going in one direction and you have indicators going in the other direction. And RSI also giving us a different direction as well. It's like all confusing, right? And a lot of people didn't know how to translate this. I look at the ASO. ASO is telling me that this is most likely to be the top, which it is, right? It's been battling with this area here for a very long time. So we are approaching an area that we're going to have a cross up, right? The price is bottom to stay sideways, to stay in within that range, right? However, the indicator already reaching at a very low area. We got the very fast one at 10 and the slow one at 17. And slightly, if I zoom in here, we can see slightly that the fast one is start to turn, right? It's losing that down momentum, that down pressure is coming off, right? So this is a weekly. I wanted to come back and check today because today is the new week, right? It's the first day of the week. So I want to see what the stochastic RSI was printing today because until yesterday, these two lines were parallel, right? Now we see that the fast one slightly is turning, is curving, right? But it's going to take a full week until that little point is going to be finalized to see it's going to stay like this or is it going to turn like this, right? So we have to wait a little bit for that. But it's good news, right? When we have this stochastic RSI turning around and giving you a cross-ups, let's have a look at what happened in the previous past. You know what happened previously? You see that we had a turnaround, right? In this area as well here. So every time that is at the bottom and crossing up, it's going to give you good runs, right? It's going to give you good runs. So that is good to see. RSI hasn't reached the maximum yet. I mean, it went a little bit overboard, came down, released that pressure, and then it's still looking to go higher. And that, remember, the stochastic RSI is the fastest one. RSI is a bit slower, and the slowest of all is the ASO. So if we're going to get a new push, you're going to see the ASO turning around as well, reversing. And the blue one is going to tell you that, you know, the buyers are still in control and the market is turning around. Possibly. But we need to wait and see, you know, what's going on. We've got a lot of news going on, and China has got trouble with the its own markets, and, you know, economy in China doesn't look very good. So that creates more doubt, right, into the in the markets. So good days ahead, right? So we are heading towards the bottom of this RSI, and then maybe we're going to get a cross. So that means maybe we're going to see some trouble, you know, within the week, and then we're going to see something going to turn around. We're going to see. Right. So good morning, Miss Mizzy. I'm glad that you're here. Good morning, everyone. So this is a high time frame for Bitcoin, and if we go into the 3 days, right, it's going to give you a bit more close up into that weekly. Again, sort of like kind of divergence. You see that we are printing low highs, right? And RSI is printing low highs as well. I mean, look at that, it's going lower and lower and lower. What the price is reaching that area. So that's why it's like an area that we need to pay a little bit of attention and not to be so hyped up, and right, don't have this FOMO rushing into your bloodstream, right? What do you see? You see this range, then you got the break of the range, right? So it's creating a high, and then it's coming down again. And now what do we see? We see that we got a lower high. So that's a high, and this is our lower high, right? And the question is, what's going to happen next, right? Will it push to go higher to try to target that high, or that will be the beginning of a new push to the down? So pay attention into these higher time frames. You know, weekly, 3 days is going to give you a heads up, right? And if I put the daily or the 3 day, right, the 3 day, because I'm looking at the 3 day chart, you can see that, you know, the 50 is rising. So that must be, you know, it could be, there is not opportunity, but there is a chance, so to say, that, you know, maybe Bitcoin will come and target that 50 MA, and then later on, you know, when the weekly RSI will start pushing, that will be the time to push up, further up. We'll see how deep it will go. We'll see, guys, right? So the reason that we're looking at these higher time frames is to make sure that we don't panic or we don't feel FOMO about the markets and, you know, our decisions. Use the higher time frames. And AMAs are very good as well, you know, not bad with the AMAs as well. Use them as well, see, you know, what's going on, how the price is reacting to it. And we can go down to the daily. Right, here's a daily. I'll make sure that I'll switch the AMA into the daily. So I'll go inputs, go back into the daily. Here we are, daily. And on the daily, we got Bitcoin. Have a closer look here. We got Bitcoin buttoning with the 50 MA. right? So we had, when was that? That was on Tuesday that the price was above the 50 MA, and then by Thursday the price was below 50 MA, right? And then it's trying to see where it's going to close. So right now we are just hitting the 50 MA on the daily, right? Okay. A lot of people will see these. They will say, oh, this is a high, this is a low high, this is a low high, a pivot point, a turnaround, and then we get a high high, right? Technically. But even though that we reach again inside that range, technically we got these highs to be lower. So don't ignore that fact that these new highs, even that it turn around here, right? Even in these areas, you can see that it cannot match the previous highs, right? So keep that in mind. So it's finding a hard time. You can see the wicks that have a direction as well. They have an angle there, right? So it's a moment that you don't need to rush into trades, all right? No matter what everybody says, you know that we are squeezing in, right? It's like coiling up, and then you need to be careful which way are we going to target this, right? It's like a flag building up right now, and you don't know which way it's going to go. It's going to go up or it's going to go down, right? On the daily, stochastic RSI is already on the top, losing a little bit steam. Why do I say that? Let me maximize that. So we're going to have a closer look. Here we are. So what do we see? We see that we reach the tops around 99, and then we got a cross down. Then you're trying to push one more time up, and then you got a low high, right? And now we'll still have a cross down on the daily, and it wants to push down, right? So stochastic RSI is telling me that the up momentum is getting weaker and weaker by the time it goes by, right? That was the up momentum. That was the highest, full speed, full pressure. And then we got the release, one more push, and then we got more release. So already here, RSI is telling me that Bitcoin is getting weaker by the looks of it on the daily, right? So what about the RSI? Let's have a look on the RSI. Zoom out a little bit, and what do we see on the RSI? Right, we see that the RSI is keep on dropping, right? This is our high, release the valve, push one more time, equal highs, right? Goes down, comes back, low high, comes down, push up, low high, comes down, push up. So far, it's a low high, right? So even the RSI is telling us that we got a down push momentum to the Bitcoin, right? It may, now and then we do get the spikes. Why is that? Because you get the reversals, right? You get this point that is reversing hard up, right? You get this point that's reversing up. You've got this point that is reversing up. So now and then you do see these nice pop-ups on the candles, but then it's following by other candles that's going lower and lower, right? So we are, under pressure, right? Bitcoin is under pressure. You see that the RSIs are getting weaker and weaker. The indicators are getting weaker, and also ASO. I mean, what ASO is telling you. That was the bottom of the spike. I mean, let's have a look here, right? So we got this little wick that went all the way down, and that was indicating you that was the bottom. We've got a cross-up reversal. RSI was reversing. ASO is telling you, this is the local bottom. Okay, that was back in January the 23rd, right? Last week. And now that it came back into that range, you can see that stochastic RSI hitting the top. That is like going sideways by the looks of it. And ASO is telling me that, maybe this is our local top. It's not yet a clear signal because I need to see a reversal. I would like to see ASO reversing. So when I get these indications that is reversing, then more than likely it's giving us a signal that this is the top, the local top, right? And if you compare to the previous highs, then you understand this is a lower high, right? And then maybe it wants to come down. A lot of people, they're going to use this excuse, it's because of the China economy, Bitcoin is kind of drop down, right? But we don't trade the news. Well, I don't, right? Well, all I know is I've got my MAs, and I know that it's battling on the 50. So if it's going to lose that, where it's going to target? It's going to target the 200, right? And also, what else do we know? We know that we need to target the 32 area. I'm not sure if it's going to go that low, and we know why, because we've got a lot of liquidity sitting at the 34 area, which is around these areas. So there is a high possibility that if it's going to go down, it's going to come down down into the 200. The ASO, the slowest. Out of the three, yes. Stochastic RSI, it's the fastest one. It's going to react quicker. RSI is like a half speed, right? It takes a lot of time for, to move from the very bottom to the very top, right? It's going to take a lot of time to build it, and then it's going to take a lot of time to come down again, right? But in stochastic RSI, you see how many times it reached the top, it came to the bottom, it came back to the top, came back to the bottom, goes to the top, goes to the bottom. You see, it goes like crazy. It goes up and down way faster, rather than RSI is going like it's taking its time to reach the top or the overbought and the oversold areas, right? In ASO, it's the slowest of all. It takes more time, especially on the higher time frames. But it's not a discouraging that you have indicators being slow, right? We do know that our lagging indicators. Why? Because they need the past history data to have a calculations to give us an estimate, right? So there is a strong possibility that Bitcoin will come down. What do we have? High, a low, right? All these lows got broken, comes up, it cannot come and match that previous high, and then maybe we're going to come down and break this low as well as market structure, right? So a lot of people are going to use the excuse, oh, it's because of China economy and the bloody Chinese, blah 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 blah. Yeah, right. Okay, I don't do that. I mean, I see the charts as they are, and it's been a very long time that we keep on saying that it needs to retrace. It has to do this, right? We knew that it's going to have a lot of trouble 48, 49. It happened, right? The charts did not prove us wrong. The warning sign was when it dropped below the 50, right? That was the first warning sign. It went below 50. Now it's trying to retest the 50. And the question is, will you reclaim that 50, or you're going to have a struggle and come down and target the 200, which is going to be aligned with the 34, 35 area, which we do know that there's a lot of liquidity pool sitting there. Cal this morning earlier did show us that there's a lot of liquidity sitting in these areas, 34. So more likely, it's very hard. Never mind that I said that before, that we tested this area, the 32 area, as resistance. We haven't tested it as a support. We'll see. We're getting away from that scenario. As time goes by. A couple months ago, I was targeting this trend line, right? I was targeting that area. And then, as time was going by and the price was going higher and higher, it was building more stronger uptrend. These low levels of 24, 25, or even, this is a 25, it's like these chances are getting slimmer and slimmer, right? That doesn't mean that our TA or our, trend line is wrong. It is not wrong. It just happened, for the price to get down this low, it needs really bad news, really bad things to happen into the market, right? So no, we are still bullish. We are. Bitcoin has been going up since 2 years ago. Well, not 2 years ago, but last Christmas, right? 23 towards 24. So it's not yet the time to speak of reversals or anything like that. it's just a retracement, a correction, right? So we know that it's battling with the 50. So there is, there's a high possibility that we're going to target the 200. Okay. So I hope that we cleared all the FUD and the FOMO. That was a clear warning. Watch out. We broke the range under it. And now you may have a valid question. What about this one? Right? That broke the range above. Why that is not a nice signal to tell us that it wants to go higher? We could, if we didn't have that following, right? So if you have a range and it's breaking out of the range, what do you expect? To stay above that range, to continue, right? And breaking the previous highs. Instead of that, what do we got? We just went way back into a range and even lower from that range. So we're going to take the more recent event, right? So, and then you're going to tell me also a valid question, like, hey, a debate, not a question. I mean, okay, it broke the range, but it came back into the range. Yes, true, it is. But did it target that high? No. Did it target the top of the range yet? No. Okay. Has it got trouble with the 50 MA? Yes. Okay. So we know there is no liquidity up here. Why? It's been taken out, right? So there's not a lot of liquidity sitting up here. We've got a lot of liquidity down here. So what do we know about the markets? Markets love liquidity, right? So sooner or later, it's going to target that area. I just don't have the crystal ball to tell you when. Right, so far so good. Are we okay? Are you following? Let me know. All right. Okay, good. All right. So now, if you're going to see Bitcoin dropping down here, you won't be surprised. Okay. I will be surprised by the looks, how things are going. I will be surprised to see, coming up. I'll be like, oh, what happened here? All right. But if I see Bitcoin dropping, I say, yeah, I can see that, it makes more sense that it's in the trouble area. All right. But again, I'm not having a crystal ball. I'm just looking about probabilities, right? And I can see that was a very slow divergence on the RSI, right? Look at that. RSI is keep on giving you low highs, while price action is giving you high highs, right? So that is a kind of another warning sign, right? It's like, okay, what's going on here? Why RSI is dropping and the price action is dropping? So that's why you're going to see like a weakness going on here. So be a little bit cautious how you're going to approach this, right? Meanwhile, another fact that we all always know, that when you have Bitcoin in a range, right, this is when you get the alt moving. And let's have a look on the list here and let's see what's going on with the majority of the markets. 50-50. I got a few reds and I got a few greens. What about TIA? 4%. Okay. What's the lowest? Miro is doing 5%. So you got like equal direction, sort of. I got some bleeding here. Ron is bleeding badly today. Okay. You can see why. All right. Stochastic RSI reversing, RSI reversing ASO. It looks like it wants to reverse. Right. So there is a high possibility that it's going to target that 50 MA, right, on the daily. So Ron is looking that it's heading into trouble here. I just moved to a smaller time frame to have a look the possibilities where it's going to bounce, right? And you've got another area here that acted as resistance and now it's acting as support. So you're marking out your support and resistance areas. You can see that we got another horizontal levels there. Here we are. So these are the possible levels that where Ron will bounce off. Right, so we'll see. Bleeding 12% already. Right, so what else? Render is looking to target that 50 MA as well. So we got the support and resistance area here. Around these areas, you got multiple price action right around these areas. Here we are. So this is acting as support. It went through. It's acting resistance, resistance, resistance. Goes above. It's trying to act as support. We'll see. Right. We'll see what render. Maybe it found its support here. Right. Maybe it's going to dive inside to target that area here. So maybe it's going to target that 50 MA. Right. So not very bullish yet for render. Render is dropping. And you're going to take it step by step, right? Tier is still strong. It's giving you a green percentage, like a green sign, but what do you see here? Right, it's like a rejection, right? Correct? So it came here, act as support, goes above, has a very struggle time here, comes down, acted as resistance, comes down, resistance. So these areas get rejected, comes down, comes back again, got rejected, comes back, got rejected, it's coming back again. And by the looks of it, we'll see how strong Thale will be. But anyway, it's like a setting triangle, right? So it's going to bounce multiple times, and then if that weekly Bitcoin is going to give us a cross up, right, then we may see a move to the up. But wait. I mean, if you want to trade tier, you can. We're going to have a smaller time frame. I'm going to look on the time frame. Maybe we're going to have a small chance to come down into this area. Maybe we're going to find a short opportunity for tier. Maybe. We'll see. Rune. What Rune is doing. Let's have a look on Rune. Rune is below the 50 MA. Okay, let's have a look. So Rune is keep on rejecting the 50 MA. Right? So got drop below. Trying to target that area. It fell, came back, it fell, came back. It's failing. Oh dear. Right, okay. So let's clear this. Render is looking to go, maybe it's going to target down here, the 200, maybe. What do you see? You keep on getting low highs and low lows, right? So the question now is going to give you a low low, right? We're going to see that. Do you use SMA or EMA? I'll just use the MA, the simple ones, right? Simple MAs. And I'm using the indicator MA cross because you're using one indicator and it has two lines already in there. Right, what about Solana? Okay, Solana gave us a little bit of warning here. It dropped below the 50. It's like the uh-oh moment, right? It's coming up and then it's targeting the 50 MA again and it's battling. Like Bitcoin is battling with the 50 MA. What's going to happen? Well, you've got a first support here. So if that, drops, the first support is going to be here. The second one is going to be the 200, right? Again, what do you see? High, low, equal high, right? Not a very bullish momentum going on here. So maybe, the alts are telling us that maybe we're looking to the downside, right? Maybe. So moving average revenue gives you 4. Yeah, why not? But too much cluster to me. But yeah, 4 that's fine. I mean, you can have the 200, you can have the 100, you can have the 50, you can have the 20. Yeah, these 4 work very fine. You can have the 800, which is very, very tough MA. Let me switch that to 800 and see, how it looks like it. The 800 is being used by the mentality of the investors, and you need a larger coin like Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? So it's been used by long-term investors and see where the price is under or above, right? So if you were a long-term investor, that will be the time for you to say, hey, I would like to enter on the 800 MA, right? A break, and that was it, the first time that he is daring to break the 800, right? Comes down, goes above, breaks it, retests it, and then it's breaking the structure, right? So that will be a good signal back in December 2023 for someone to look in Solana to go long, and that was around 60, right? This is not, this is very, very slow moving averages, very, very slow. It's been used for the people that are very skeptical with the money, they don't risk at all, right? The big whales. So that's the 800. Let's go back to 200. Here we are. A day trader or a swing trader, you can see that opportunity, you can see that opportunity around this area that you got a warning that, hey, I want to come up above the 250, comes down, retest it, then breaks it, comes back, retest, break the structure, and that is around 26, right? So a swing trader will go in at 26, and maybe he will get out around these areas, right? Why is that? Because it's breaking the 50 MA, right? Here's the first warning sign. And so, what's going on here? It's trying to come up and reclaim, and then again, it's battling with that 50. So that swing trader, not the long-term investor, the swing trader say, hey, okay, that swing looks like it's done, it's getting weaker, so I'm going to get out around 97. So, that swing lasted from 26 to $97, right? And then, he's going to book his profits, that swing trader, right? He's going to book his profits and then say, okay, I'm going to put it in stable and see, when I get another opportunity in the future to get into new fresh positions. Solana, even on the daily, RSI is dropping. Stochastic RSI is resetting multiple times, but it's okay. We know it's the fastest one. It's looking weak, right? It's on the down move. So no, not a very long day. It's not a green week, right? It's not a green week. Gala is in trouble. I mean, it's giving us a little warning sign here that it went under the 200, right? Look at that, a warning sign that it wanted to go under the 200. What happens? Comes down, and now is under the 200, right? So not looking good for Gala. Look at that, RSI dropping. All right, ASO is telling me that possibly it's gonna hold this area. Maybe. Let's see if it's gonna reclaim. I can see the level Y. Here's a level. All right, so let me include these candles here. So that is a support area. So maybe Gala is going to stay a little bit sideways to fight with that 200 MA. Right, but it clearly lost the 50, came back, touched the 200, boom, goes up to 50. It doesn't have enough steam to go above, it cannot reclaim, and target again the 200, right? Again, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, bye bye. So it doesn't look very good. That's another one for Gala. So maybe we're going to find one support there, and there's another support here. Let me put a little box there. Right, so by the looks of it this week, we don't look for longs, don't we? I don't know. What do you say, guys, so far? Right. So it doesn't look that green. Doesn't look that green. What about Doge? Doge, yeah, I gave that. And it's gonna be a little bit wide. The Doge, it lost to 50, came back, it's targeting the 200, right? Trying to reclaim it, it fails. Comes up to reclaim it again, comes back. So it's got squeezing up now on the 200. So around this area, maybe like a spot entry. This is not leverage entry, right? I posted on Discord, this is the spot mentality. And maybe, Doge is going to get squeezed up here. You can see that it's forming a flag there as well, right? The squeezy triangle is calling up. So maybe we're going to see which way it's going to go. If Bitcoin wants to go up next week, then maybe Doge will go up as well. If not, then, most likely it's going to lose at 200 and go below. I don't believe that all the tokens will go for very long under the 200. Right? It's until Bitcoin resets. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's still it doesn't look like a green wick. Let's have a look here. Naka again. Again, building up a spot position, right? Trying to buy some stuff in these levels. Right, you know that it did that deep dive, so it cleared all the liquidity down there. So there's no reason to go all the way down here. What about that 50%? No, maybe. I don't know if it's going to go that deep. We'll see. But it's weak. Right, it's weak and it touched that support area. So maybe you can have a grab an entry of Naka, right, and say, hey, I'm going to grab an entry, a spot position, and see how it goes. If it goes higher from this point, that's good. If it goes lower and target that area, that 50%, then maybe you can DCA later. So this is, you're grabbing a position, you don't go all in, and this is a spot mentality, right? Not futures. But if in case someone wanted to do in futures, that's why I put the long tool here with a stop loss, very tight stop loss. If you're going to lose that box, right? If price is going to go lower, right? If you're using futures, I need to make sure that you're out safe, right? So stop loss is your lifesaver. If you're using a spot, you don't need to worry about. You can throw like $100, $200, and say, okay, I'm going to wait for that, and then see what's going to happen later. If it goes lower, that means you can throw another $200 cheaper price, right? Instead of 1.39 to 90 cents, right? Or 80 cents, whatever, or around $1. So you get a 30% discount, right? And you're going to build more. And then by the time it comes back into this area, you're not going to be break even, you're going to be in profit, right? And if it's going to test that support and then head towards the upside, then you can load even more. This is a little trick. This is what you do in spot, right? You buy a position. If you think that is hold a strong support, right? That was a support, that's a support. It looks like it's going to be a support. So if you believe that it's going to hold, then make a move, grab an entry, and then you're going to see in the future if we have a chance to correct it, like DCA, and go a bit lower and make sure that, you get an average, a discount. How can you tell the best buy for spot? Okay, high time frames, like the weekly. Right, go to the weekly. I mean, now Naka doesn't have a lot of data to come up with us, but let's pretend. Let's go to a higher time frame on a higher. Let's go to ETH. Right, let's go to ETH. I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin alone. Let's have a look on ETH. Then what you want to do, you want to come on the weekly, and even monthly, right? Monthly will tell you when it's the bottom. And let me get rid of the noise. Let's get rid of the EMAs, right? Now the weekly is going to tell you all these three indicators that we have, the same indicators. The weekly will tell you when is the top of the market and when is the bottom of the market. So here we got a cross down, RSI reversing, ASO reversing around these areas. Let me be clear, around these areas, right? And you get this huge wick as well, and that is on the monthly. And then you see prices going up, but the indicators going down. So you know this is divergence. Like, hey, don't bet on this one. All right, be careful with this one. So this is the monthly, and when you got RSI at the very bottom, which is like oversold, and then you got a cross up, and then you got RSI reversing, cannot go any lower. ASO is reversing, so most likely you know this area was the bottom of the market, which is around $1,000. Right? That is how you identify the bottom or the top in spot in a high time frame without sweat. You just need to go into monthly, and you don't need to pull up any other special indicators. Those three indicators will do the job for you. That's why I don't introduce any more indicators. Like those three are good enough. Right? So this is how you find the spots. Another token. Let's find another token. Let's find an old token, like a big old token. Do we have ADA? Even ADA. Let's have a look at ADA. All right. Here's ADA. So ADA is telling you, all right, RSI is the very bottom, flat for a very long time, and then you got a cross-up event, and you say, hello, what's going on here? And then, you know, you pull a line here, you can see that it cannot go lower, right? So most likely RSI is reversing. What about ASO? ASO is losing that peak here, that top. So most likely ASO and everyone is telling you, you know that this is the bottom, right? From this area, you need to look to buy your spot, right? Right now, it is not a good place for you to buy spot in ADA, right? Look at that. It's giving you a cross down. Okay, what about ASO? ASO hasn't crossed yet. Okay, so we are into a correction. It's not a bear market. So I don't expect to come all the way down. We are still in the bull market, right? But here is the levels. Let me do a box here. You got these all nice line and engulfing candles, and then you got these engulfing candles. So you're gonna pull a box between these two areas. So you do know now that, you know, there is a high possibility that ADA will come all the way down inside to that box until that stochastic RSI will reset, right? You may get RSI come down a little bit and then come back again. So that means it's going to come back into that box and then correct. It is not over yet, right? The blue is not on the top to tell you this is the end of the top. You're going to get that maybe by next year. This is a monthly chart, right? It's going to take another 6 months, about another year, 12 months for that ASO to reach the top, right? Stochastic RSI may go up and down multiple times, right? You're not worried about that. RSI is going to take longer, but when it's going to reach that overbought area like here, and then you get the cross down event by that time, and then you got the ASO blue by that time on the top and losing it, right? That will be the time to tell you, you say, hey, you know what? Take profit. We are shifting. We're going the other way around. So you may see something like this on the ADA. I don't know how far ADA will go. Will it break the previous highs? Don't know, right? Why? Because ADA doesn't have the same hype this round like the previous round, if that makes sense, right? A lot of people are not interested in ADA anymore, right? They're interested in TIA this time. They're interested in DO, other tokens. You know, the market is giving you new waypoints, so to say, right? People are interested in other tokens, other projects. ADA is quite old. So I don't really expect to go all this high. Maybe maybe it does. Maybe, maybe good news come up for the project, and then, they're going to say something good about ADA, and then maybe you're going to see ADA running. Why not? What about Matic? Right? Matic, here we are. Matic yet hasn't given you a very strong signal to tell you. It is, here's the bottom as price action. You can see that stochastic RSI is giving you a cross up from this area. So you have this level, and ASO was telling you, you know what? I just got a cross, right? This is not yet the very bottom. This is not over. This is, it's going to come back to this area. And then you saw that Matic came back into this area, right? And you see ASO now is overextended, right? And you can see RSI even, let me do a straight line. You can see here that RSI came back to this area, right? That was the very bottom, right? That was the very bottom, and then boom, it turned around and back to this area, right? So you got a double bottom on the RSI, and stochastic RSI came back to the same area, right? That's why ASO sort of saved you and said to you, don't rush into Matic, because I don't have a clear indication. I'm going to put a vertical line so you can see it. Here's a vertical line, right? This is where you got a cross up on the RSI. This is where the RSI was reversing, but ASO was nowhere clear to give you a bottom, right? It was still blue on the top and just about to cross. So that was, ASO was telling you, you know what? This is not yet the very bottom for you to go up. You could get let's say, a small trade and say, hey, what do I have to lose? It's 245%, right? But it was giving you an idea that most likely it's going to revisit these areas, because that wasn't the bottom, right? So he's telling you, now you have a clear understanding that this is the bottom, right? And even now, Matic is looking into trouble, right? Look at that. He's heading for a cross down. RSI, again, it doesn't look very strong to the up. And then ASO, you can see that it's turning up again, right? The negative, the red, the pink, to my occasion here, is turning towards the up. Let's have a look. You see what's going on here? That was a high, was dropping. It means the price was going up. Then it reversed. That means the price came down again. Then it went down, price goes up, and then again is rising into these levels, right? So ASO is telling you once again that, it's going to get another push to the down, and maybe, right, you're going to get a triple bottom, right? So now that Matic on the monthly is telling you this is not the time for you to buy spot, right? Because in spot you only go for one direction, up, right? You cannot bet on the way down. So Matic is not looking very bullish right now. Right, so I hope you see that. Let's talk about Phantom, because I did say Phantom before. So let's have a look on Phantom. Phantom on the monthly. That's not a lot of data here on Binance. That's weird. Let's find another one. Let's go and type just FTM, and let's see if I can find. Let's go in spot and see. Okay, I don't have the dinosaur, so that's not the beginning of the time. But anyway, the same thing with, you can go down into 2 weeks, right, to get more data. So the indicators can give some action going on here, give us some values. So even on the 15 days on Phantom, you can see roughly where it's the bottom, right? a cross up on the stochastic RSI, RSI reversing, ASO reversing. So you know around this time, this is the bottom. And then it comes back again. All right, you can see again that you got a cross down, reversing, price was going down, RSI was reversing, ASO is telling you this is a top, right? So you knew this is a top, it cannot go any higher, and then it comes down again. And then you get a cross up, RSI reversing, ASO telling you this is the bottom, and off we go. And then we head out into a new trouble, and it's telling me that, you know, we've got a cross down, right? ASO hasn't told me yet this is a top. So what do I expect? I expect that it's going to come down a little bit, maybe found a support here, and then push one more time. And then it's going to have enough time for the blue to give me a new local high, and then maybe our RSI is going to come back like this. All right. So this is how you use the higher time frame. These three indicators, this is how you read them. And this is how you're going to build your spot positions. You know that this is not the time yet to buy phantom in spot, right? And I see a doji candle here. So maybe I get a support and resistance here, right? And I see that I got a wick that went into that area and then it got pushed up. Okay, it's a down momentum, right? So I'm going to let that price come down a little bit and see how far will it go, right? And see, you know, maybe RSI will cross, and then RSI will turn around, then, you know, the white one's going to come down, the red one's going to come up. When you get the red one on the top at any point, then you know that is the local bottom for you to start investing again in phantom. You don't need to worry about it. When you know the strategy and how to read the indicators, even on a larger time from 15 days, 1 month, it's super. For swing trading, weekly is fine. It's not too bad, right? Weekly, it's just fine. You can identify the swings, and weekly it's good for futures, like low leverage, right? You can do a 3x or 5x on any token that you wish, and then you can, you know, see where is the time for you to enter, right? Enter for long is when you see RSI cannot go any lower and reversing, when you go the stochastic RSI crossing up, when you see the ASO dropping, right, the red one, so it's indicating you this is the bottom. So I say, okay, I'll try to enter here, and then you do like a 3x. And if I measure that all the way up to here, so to say, right, as a swing trader, and say, okay, I got a trouble here. RSI did not reach the top. So, okay, what about the ASO? ASO here, let me clear the noise. This is how you stay out of trouble. I'm going to put a vertical line, and you've got a cross down here, right? And you see price action is dropping. RSI dropping as well, but ASO just crossed. So the ASO is telling you, hey, you know what? Yes, we are in a retracement. That is a small retracement, but it's not the end of the swing. Why? Because ASO just crossed. It's telling you that the buying power is still in play. So you don't jump on your guns to try to exit and say, okay, it's going for a small correction, no problem. You see, ASO is going to keep you calm and say, okay, I know it's retracing. Stochastic RSI is telling me, price action is telling me, it's real time, right? That happens first. So you see that's going down, but ASO is telling you, hey, stay calm, right? Have your cup of tea, and then watch what's going to happen later. Boom, it goes for another push. And then you're going to see it's topping up. RSI topped up, and then you got another cross down. Now you know that most likely this is the top, right? And then as a swing trader, you're going to take your profits. It's not going to be at the very top. I'm going to be honest with you, right? By the time you get the cross down, by the time you're going to see the RSI dropping, this is the weekly now, right? It's going to take like a week. By the time you understand that the ASO is dropping, right? It's going to take a little while. It's not going to be at the very, very top. But if you're doing a 3x and you started somewhere here, I'm not going to put it on the very bottom. I'm going to put it after the break of the previous highs. and I'm gonna exit around, let's say, halfway of that red candle, right? Halfway. That is 144. So let's make it round 140% or even 100%, right? Even 100%, which is all the way down there. No, we're not going to be that late. So I'm going to stick to 140. If you do that with 3x, that is 420%. It's not bad for a swing trader, and 5x, 5.2x your investment on that specific token on Phantom based on the weekly. And now, if you want to reverse, and also, look to the left. What do you have here? A previous high. What do you have here? An order block, right? You combine everything, all the knowledge that you have, and say, oh, I know what's going on here, right? I know that's going to find some rejection. Let me put a line there. Can I put a line, please? Here we are. Bodies to bodies on the weekly. Boom. I was like, okay, it makes sense now. That is a huge order block that went down, right? It was a bearish order block. So I know that the price is going to reject it. So you exit it. You don't want to see that. Let's say that you didn't see that. Okay, fine. Use a trend line. When you break the trend line. And because this is a weekly, you can use the 3-day just for you to get enough price action to draw a trend line. And remember, when you get a sudden change of the angle, right, you see the price action is moving away, pull another trend line, update your trend line, right? And since, when you get the break of that trend line, you just exit. This is weekly. No, this is 3 days. So this is 3 days, this is another 3 days, this is another 3 days. So that's 10 days price action. And then 2 weeks later from this point, right, you get the break of the trend line. So you exit. So either way, that's why I say halfway of that red candle, it's 140%. And your entry was, right, I'm going to be fair with you, your entry was around here, right? You saw that was coming down, you came back, you broke the previous high, you feel confident, you entered here, right? I'm not going to give you the perfect textbook example that you entered here because of the cross up of the weekly, right? So even if you're trying to be fair with a 3x, you just got almost 500%, right? For sure you made a 5x. And because it's spot, most likely you're going to put some good money into it. I'm not going to say $1,000, but you could throw $250, right? It's spot. You know that you're not going to lose it. It's not futures that you are worrying that you get liquidated and you're going to say goodbye to the $250. It's just spot. So you can put a bit more in spot rather than in futures, right? You're going to be more careful with your capital in futures because if it goes down, you lose it. So yeah, that's why I like the higher time frames. It's more relaxed. It's giving you more time, and then you don't panic what's going to happen within the day. You just don't care. You're going to join. You're going to open up your charts every day just to see the price action, what's going on, and you're going to be up to date, right? It's simple. So this is how you find the spot, ladies and gentlemen. Nice and easy on the weekly. It's fine. If you want to be like a long-term investor, you need to see where is the bottom of the bear market and the top of the bull market for you to know when you're going to take the profits from spot, right? And don't lose it. Then you go to the monthly. It's very, very, very simple as long as you keep your strategy strict, right? You need to have confidence, first of all, of that strategy, and also to be, perform discipline into that strategy and don't rush into any emotions. That's why I like the high time frames, because emotions do not have ground here to play with you, and you just wait. It's a waiting game. all right? Let the others fight in the daily and the intraday with the futures. And most of them are going to get, not most of them, but a high percentage of these people using intraday strategies, they're going to lose a lot of money. They're going to win some, but they're going to lose some as well, right? But in sport, if you're using higher time frames, it's less likely that you're going to lose. And remember the little trick that I told you a couple months ago, that the only way for you to beat the system, the matrix of the trading, right, the casino, is for you to stay as long as possible inside, right? And it's the only factor that they cannot fight is time. So if you're trying to battle with them in and out all the time, they're gonna grab your feet one way or another. They're gonna grab you, right? They're gonna do liquidations. They're gonna do stop loss hunting. They're gonna do liquidity pool hunting. They're gonna do all sort of things that go up and down. Look at these spikes, right? Look at these wicks. These wicks are killing all the futures. All the leverage have been killed easily. In spot, you just don't care on the weekly. No, you're laughing. On the weekly and the monthly, you don't even care if the ETF is going to get approved. You don't care if China's economy is looking bad right now. You don't care about the elections. All these big major events don't play any role at all on the monthly. Bitcoin doesn't care. It's similar as that. It ignores. So it's a good filter. You ignore all the noise, right? You filter out all the noise. So you want to be successful? Go large time frames. Don't be afraid of using the large time frames. Now the question is, a lot of people say, hey, okay, we know that Bitcoin started moving last year, right? So we're already in a year's time inside that bull market, right? Is that too late for me to look on the weekly and the monthly? I understand the frustration there. Let's go to Bitcoin. I understand the frustration, right? So if people is looking, people looking at Bitcoin and they see the bottom of the 15K, right? Let's go to the monthly. Okay, monthly. I want to give you a small example. What if you knew this little trick? Let's give some space here, some room. What if you knew that little trick to look the price action on a monthly basis and have a look what happened here? Stochastic RSI cross up. RSI was reversing. ASI was reversing around this time. That was around 15, 17K. Can you understand the advantage that you have against the others? That people say, oh no, we go down to a 10K. Yeah, right. They go down to 10K. You know what happened to them? They're still waiting. Right? So it's not going to happen. So the monthly, it is going to give you a good direction to tell you that, hey, we are approaching, the bottom. You should be looking to go up from this point, right? And now what do we see? When it was going up, stochastic RSI was going up, and then it got a cross down. RSI was like in the middle, and then you got that reversal. I'm like, a lot of people got scared. Yes, but look what ASI was like just crossing up. And say, hey, buddy, we are in the middle of it. We haven't finished yet, right? So you have another advantage and say, okay, I can scale in, right? I go up, then comes back, retest this area, and then, maybe I'm going to put some more money into it, and then goes up. And now again, we reach to a point that, it's looking, stochastic RSI is like giving you some trouble going on here. So maybe we're going to have another correction, like this one here, right? Where's the RSI? Is that on the very extreme? No, it's not on the very extreme. Again, it's like in the middle of nowhere, 62. Okay, so it doesn't look to be the end of the cycle. What about ASO? ASO came here, is looking flat, right? Look at that, flat. Well, not flat like this, but it is turning, but it did not reverse, right? So ASO is telling you, yeah, I know, we're slowing down here. Obviously, look at that huge wick there. We're slowing down, but it doesn't tell you yet this is a time for a reversal. Remember, the ASO can be overextended, right? Look at how long it stayed up there, overextended. So you can have ASO slowly creeping and doing sideways action, right? The problem will be when it's going to lose it, right? But that time RSI will come like this, be on the extremes and turn around, and then stochastic RSI, remember the fastest one. I'm not going to expect the RSI to come all the way down to the bottom, maybe halfway, and then come up into these areas. When I get all these three aligned, most likely Bitcoin will be, I don't know, I'm just guessing here, I'm just going to put it around 88, around 90k. So we're going to reach around 90k, and then we're going to see some trouble, and then it's going to come down. This is how I see Bitcoin in the long run. So are we due into a correction? A small correction? Maybe. It looks like it. Right? I see weakness. Look to the left. I know there's the trouble ahead. Right? That was a very bearish order block. Look how bearish it was. It was like huge 3 red candles monthly. So it's a huge bearish order block going on here. So I know that it's going to affect the price. We knew that. So if stochastic RSI is going to give us a cross down, which hasn't done yet, right? It's flat. What does it mean? It means that we're still in pressure, right? The foot is on the pedal yet. You haven't got the cross down. Wait for the cross down, right? Get a clear signal of the cross down on the monthly. So, yet, maybe, right, when we get a new cross down, maybe it's going to come back into these areas, or maybe it's going to come back to the 50s in the middle. Maybe we're going to come back to this retest area, like here. It's not going to be bearish. We're not going to be bearish. This is not the end of the bull market, right? We're going to come do some kind of correction. We know there's liquidity. It makes sense that they're going to target that area. And then by the time it's going to do it like this, and then it's going to carry on, right? And then ASO is going to do something like this and then come back again and be overextended like this, right? As long as it stays up there, it's good. Right, I would like to see RSI to come to the extreme overbought. That will be the end of the bull market. That will be roughly in a year's time. Another funny thing is the 6 month, right? And I'm going to remove that trend line. It's okay. Now, every time that we had a reversal of the market, I'm going to maximize that a little bit so you can see. I've said that before. Watch out for the engulfing candles. I'm gonna find it for you. So what I'm looking after the let's say after the bear market, all right, you have an engulfing candle. So that this is our recent engulfing candle. Okay, so this is our recent engulfing candle under the bear market, after the bear market, right? So we have a bull run, and then we had a bear market, and this is our engulfing candle. So that is our second observation point. So if I go to the left, I want to find the previous bull market. So that was flat, it goes all the way up there, right? And then comes down. And then we've got another engulfing event, which is here, right? Now we're on the 6 month. What happens, right, after the engulfing candle? So we mark the areas, right? I'm going to remove that noise there. Right, so I'm going to mark 4 candles after the engulfing candle. Right, so that's the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 4 candles. Ignore the red one. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Let's do the same thing here. All right. Number 1, that's engulfing, so I don't count that. So this is number 1, and this is number 2. All right. So this is number 1. I'm going to start it from here. And this is number 2. Right, number 3 and number 4. So number 4 will be, that will be number 3. Number 4 will be down here. That will be January 2025. So I'm going by candles, right? Number 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have a candle here. I'm trying to make it like this. Well, yeah, it's between 2. So you're going to have one candle here in the future, and then you're going to have another candle here. So by the end of this candle, will be around June 25th, right? So why is that? This is because we believe, and I'm going to do this engulfing candle, right? So it came down a bear market. So that was the engulfing candle. 1, 2, 3. So that's engulfing candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the area that we need to target, the engulfing candle here. So roughly every time that goes up in the bull market, it takes roughly 4 as an average, 4 candlesticks, 4 6-month candlesticks. If that makes sense. And if I go even further back, we're going to see the same thing. That it's going to take 6. So that's another bull market. It crashed down. That was the beginning of the bull market, right? So it's not a clear engulfing candle, but I don't have a lot of data there. So I'm already back in 2011. So that's the bottom, right? So 1, 2, 3. And that huge wick there, it's 4, right? So around 3 or 4 6-month candles is going to be the top of the bear market, right? So that observation is giving us an average of 3 or 4 6-month candles per cycle. So we're still in the middle of it, according to the previous history repeating itself. So that's even longer time frame. So you don't need to panic if it's the end right now or it's going to finish now. No, it's not. All right. So let's go back to the monthly. So we still got time. So you haven't missed the action yet, right? You just need to wait to get that local correction, and then you're going to re-enter again. So that was the very beginning of the move, goes up during the correction. That was a nice chance for you to re-enter. Goes up, maybe it's going to give us another chance to re-enter. So it is never too late for you to enter, even that the bull market started last year, right? So I hope that FOMO is out. The FOMO missing out, you haven't missed out. Draghi is asking that she got some spot positions that have been significant drop, even up to 80% decrease. Okay. No, it's not a concern. No, in spot positions, you are not concerned. Let me give an example if I can, if I may. Go to spot. And I'm going to use one example. Let me find an example. That the mistakes that I made back in time. Let's see if I can get in vet. Right, in vet, what I've done back in the days, I bought, let me see if I can find the numbers. Let's have a look. Give me 1 second. Right, in vet, I entered the first time at 0.08 cents. So I'm going to drag a line now here, right? And I've got the coordinates 0.08. So I entered here, right? Do you know how much I was down? Let me do this. It's going to be fun. I was down by 83%, right, at some point. And that, it was like very discouraging. And like, oh my God, I'm in the red 83%. What I'm going to do? I'm telling you what I'm going to do. Well, I'm going to show you what I did. And I bought again when it was 0.0215. So I'm going to enter another one. Sorry, I'm wrong, right? So I'm going to enter here. So I'm going to say coordinates, and I was in 0.0215. So that was my second entry, right? And my DCA price, I'm going to do that in yellow. It means where did I drop my average? My DCA price came down to, I got a formula for that, 0.0345. And I'm going to do that in yellow. All right, and I'm going to make it a bit thicker. So this is a mistake that I've done, number one. All right, why is the mistake? Because I'll tell you why. I entered, all right, and then I was in profit for a little while. It went up. And obviously because I was thinking like, oh, this is an investment, I'll come back in a couple of years and see what's going to happen. Then I was in profit like that, 30, 40%, right? And then it went down below. And then it was negative like 20, 30%, and then it started going up. I was breaking even, so I wasn't worried. I said, oh, okay, we're going back. Everybody was shouting that Bitcoin's going to go to 1,000, right? 100,000, and it's nothing to worry. It's going to recovering. So you have no intention of me getting out, right? Not even breaking even, and then boom, comes down. So finally, I was waiting to see where it's going to settle, right? Where it's going to be going sideways. I said, okay, I found the area, so I entered, right? You went even lower, it doesn't matter. No, to be honest, that's the second entry here. That happened last year, right? I don't have the exact dates, but it was last year. After that, I found Bitcoin was moving. That was the time that I said, okay, I need to DCA. So what I've done this time, I DCA, let's say my first position, just to give you an example, it was $450, right? That was my first position. What I've done next is I got another $450 position. So I put the same amount of money, right? But this time I got more tokens. Why? Because I bought it cheaper. So my DCA price came all the way down here. So on my second position, I am still in profit on my second position. So my second position is up by 61%. Let me see if my Excel agrees. Well, this is about 30%. Okay. Yeah, that's true because I marked the wrong line. This is the current price. That's the line. So 30% here. Excel is right. So right now, my second position is 30% up, right? My second position still down. By how much? It's down by 68%, right? And overall, right now, my price as an average, I'm down by 18%, right? Yes. The average price with the current price is around 18%. So when and if VET will carry on, this is a correction, right? We see that this is in a troubled area. But look what the ASO is telling you. It's telling me that yes, we're going into correction, but it's not going to go all the way down to the bottom, right? This is not the end of this is not the top. It's just telling you we just started it, right? We haven't crossed yet, so there's still up move yet. This is the monthly. Let's go to the weekly. Look at that, the weekly. You get more detail on the weekly. The weekly is telling you this is the current top, okay? This is a correction. This is where everything started moving. If I can grab the brush, it'll be nice. I've got the stochastic RSI, RSI reversing, right? ASO reversing, it's coming down. Where most likely? Maybe it's going to come down into that support, right? My entry, it acts like a support, right? So maybe it's going to come down all the way down here, maybe. But that time, right, we would like to see the red one telling me this is a new bottom, right? And then you can DCA again if you want. And then when it's going to come up again, right? You're going to be, again, if I got my average here and I'm going to enter another position here, I'm going to bring that average, I'm going to bring it even further down. So never mind that I made a mistake back here, right? My second DCA and then my third DCA, even on the same price, I'm going to bring my DCA average even lower. So that means when the price is going to start moving, I'm going to be breaking even here and I'm going to be in profit in here. And hell yeah, I'm going to be in profit all the way up there. Right? So don't be scared that you are minus 80%. Let me give you another perspective. The higher that number, the more happy you should be in spot, right? And it sounds weird, but what's the idea behind it? Because let's say that I made a mistake that I wasn't aware how to do trading properly back then. That was like before COVID, right? That was around 2019. So I made a mistake, right? I didn't know how to do the TA. I didn't know how to do investments. No, I didn't have any mentors. I was out there alone, most likely like you, right? And then the market came crashing down. Now, I came to a realization that you don't lose the money in spot until you make the sell. I'll say that again. You don't lose the money until you close that position. So my $450, so to say, as an example, but that time it was worth 80% less. So it was worth like $80. And that is depressing, right? And say, oh my God, it's $80. I lost all my money. No, you haven't. You're not holding dollars. You're holding tokens. I was holding VET here, right? I said, okay, hold on a minute. I'm holding VET, the same amount that I got here. So let's say I got 1,000 VET. I'll still hold 1,000 VET down here. It's just the value that changed. But the amount of the tokens that I have hasn't changed. So technically, I haven't lost my money. There is, the price value is temporary. So the higher the number, when you're reaching minus 80 or minus 70, the higher the number, the more happy you should be because you can correct the price. You can bring down the average. So I bought my first, entry at 0.8 cents, but now my average is sitting at 0.03, right? So I corrected my mistake. So I got now, I bought more and I brought my average even further down. So if that wants to come even lower, closer to my entry, I'm gonna buy another bunch of tokens. And this time I'm holding all together. Let's say what was my investment? My investment was 878, right? So when I'm gonna get here, as close as possible, when I get the signal, this is the bottom, right? When the RSI is gonna turn around, when the red is gonna be losing, and then I get the trigger on the weekly, this is the bottom, then I'm going to add exactly the same amount, another $878, and that will bring my DCA all the way down here in the middle, not down there, somewhere in the middle. And then that means right now I currently hold 25,000 VET tokens. Maybe I'm going to hold a bit more than 50. So let's say I'm going to hold 70k tokens, right? So if that goes back up, I'll be in profit from this point. Forget about that one. I'll be, breaking even from this point, and then I'll be in profit here and be way in profit in there. So don't be worried that, oh, it's minus 80, so I'll be worried. You should be worried if you don't do anything about it, right? DCA is the way for you to correct the price. You get a discount. You bring in the average down, and then when the value, when the value will go up because of the market's going to go up, you're going to have a nice exit, right? And on the other hand as well, is VED still very strong hype to reach all these all-time highs? So if I don't do nothing and I'm still waiting to minus 80, goes to minus 60, minus 50, minus 30, and then I go to break even, right? Is that guaranteed that will go all the way up to these levels for me to be in profit by, I don't know, let's measure this, by 100%? Maybe yes, maybe no, right? Maybe it doesn't reach the all-time high. Maybe because red is not that high as a project, it's not very bullish. Because new tokens out there, new projects out there, people are more hyped about new things, right? They've forgotten about DOT, they've forgotten about Matic, and they've forgotten about VET, right? Who believes in VET right now? So maybe there's a possibility that you don't go up there. So the problem will be if you don't do anything right now. So you need to DCA, right, and make sure that you're going to break even way before your first entry. So I'm going to be break even on my yellow line. Simple as that. I know I am profiting on my first position, on the second position, right? So after the yellow line, I'll be in profit from the first position. I don't need to wait to go all the way up there. If it goes all the way up there, right, I'll be in profit. But how much? I'll be in profit 127%. So the problem will be if you don't do anything.
Sorry, Thale, it's Jackie here. It's just
Hi,
easier
Jackie.
if I mute myself.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, right? And DCA is obviously a more sensible approach. However, we all have different account size, and having a small account is obviously a limitation, right? Because in my position, for example, yes, some assets or tokens have gone significantly lower, like I've explained, right? And if I was to DCA like 10, 20 of those tokens, that means I'll have a lot of funds tied down into that. Just like you've explained, we don't know whether these tokens, when and if they'll come back to their all-time high, right? So there are other, obviously, assets or projects that are incoming or quite hyped up right now that you can actually use that funds to invest in. So that's why my prediction. And that's why I said I'm hesitant, because I don't want to feel like I'm tied. Yes, DCA I know you could do DCA, but what if you DCA and you're actually taking another 6 months, for example, for those tokens to even try and break even, whilst those funds, just like we do like with other investments, those funds I could use them, leverage them, and use them for something else and double your returns.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, I have another solution
what do I
for
do?
you.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I have another solution for you. I know that you are tied in money, right? In that case, but the best way for you to, I understand that you have a logic in behind and say, okay, listen, VET is very slow. I may have a better chance in AI, any AI, fetch, ARK, whatever. Yeah, and then AI will run way faster than VET. Why do I waste my time in VET? Okay, good. I mean, that is a very logical question. What you can do, what I like to do is I like to find funds to heavily DCA on this token that is very boring. And I want to make sure that I can bring my DCA as low as possible to the current price. So when it's going to move up, and then when I'm going to be a little bit in profit, like 1, 2, 3, 5% above my break even or from my DCA point, then I can say, hey, you know what, VET is very boring. I don't trust it anymore. Then I'm going to close it. This way, right, you haven't wasted your money. You're going to invest more money to DCA to bring the DCA down. And once the price is going to hit that as a break even, you say, hey, I'll take everything out right now. I don't trust it, and I haven't lost anything apart from time. I've got my money back.
So you're DCA in a position, obviously, to bring it to sort of like a break-even level.
Yeah, if you don't trust it anymore, bring it to break it even, and then get out.
Exit at a break-even.
Yeah. If you don't trust, I mean, somebody else said to me about ADA, and goes to me, oh dear, I've been in ADA for 2 years, and I don't know what to do. I don't trust it anymore. No one's talking about ADA. ADA is looking like it's going to die. I was like, okay, how much money do you have there? He's going to go, I've got 10K. Oh shit. All right, okay, it's a lot of money there. One option is for him to bail out and from this 10K go out with 1K. So he's going to lose 9K. And I said, okay, we can't do this. We need to do something else, right? So we find a way to find fines left, right, center, right? And then trying to do a calculation to see how far we can DCA, how much money do we need to DCA that ADA all the way down to the bottom. And as soon as he moved and went into break even, exit, close the position, he took his money back, and then all the money that he lent it from, he gave him back. So that's one way of escaping in a bad trade and make sure that you don't lose a lot of money. Now, from minus 80%, if you are willing to lose a little bit and say, hey, I don't expect to go back into break even at 0, and maybe it's going to be like minus 5%, and then you say, hey, I'm okay to lose 5%. I'm not okay to lose 80%, but I'm okay to lose 5%. I'm going to damp it. Ladies and gentlemen, give me 1 second. I need to open the door. So yeah, here I am. I'm back. So yeah, so if you get to lose just 5%, then you can close a bit the trade earlier and have a small loss of 5% rather than 80% or 70%. So yeah, that's one way of doing it. Is that you're trying to evade a big loss.
And to monitor, if you want to monitor, like say you've DCA'd, right? And how do you keep tab of if this asset, obviously there's a lot of assets, and we all have a life and stuff. How do you keep monitoring whether these assets, whether the price is moving?
What I do, I have my own Excel sheet, right?
Oh, the Excel sheet, okay.
Yeah, so I've got my own Excel sheet, which I have open all the time, and it's refreshing every 1 minute. It's grabbing the prices, the updates every 1 minute, so I can see how bad they are. I got a color code if they are in the
Condition formatting, yeah.
Yeah, I do condition formatting. If it's good in positive, it's going to be green. If it's going to be negative, it's going to be red. So I can see how many reds and greens I have. And at the very bottom, I've got the very totals. How well I'm doing in overall of my investment.
Okay.
So I got a video on the YouTube how to do that on your own.
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll do that on my own, right? So it's free. It's private as well. You are the only one that having that Excel sheet, so you know what exactly you have done.
Okay. Thank you.
No, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Thank you for the question. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I know that it's very difficult that you got into a project that you believe that it's going to do well, but it doesn't do, and then you got other narratives that they're running and say, hey, what's going on here? What these kind of situations, you need to make up mind and say, hey, I'm going to DCA, and then I'll wait to have at least, go back, not on the all-time highs, but at least give me a good 50% move to the up, right? And that will give me some profit, and then I will exit. But if you're eager to get out, trying to find funds to drop the DCA as low as possible, right? For then the token only needs like 10% to move up, right? It's very easy to get a 10% move up. It's very hard for you to get a 100% or 200% move. But the 10%, if you finalize a DCA all the way down there, only needs a 10% to move. You can get a 10%. It's an altcoin, right? We are in the bull market. You will get that 10%. So,
I think in my case, it's pretty much a schoolgirl era. When you're learning, you hear something. I don't know about the projects really. Just hear about it. You buy it. Signals you give it. You take it. Formal, right? But You don't even know everybody else maybe might have an approach and a strategy how to exit. I don't, you see, or
Yeah.
what to do. So you end up taking call signals and stuff, but you don't know when to exit.
It's true.
You
It's
don't,
true. At the very
you haven't
beginning,
done your SWOT analysis to understand whether this coin, I'm sorry if that term is not used in crypto, but you know, you don't understand whether it will come to its all-time high. What is the hype about? A new coin doesn't have any data and stuff. So yeah.
yeah.
So these are mistakes, obviously, as a beginner. I'm realizing that I've made and have to be rectified.
It's okay. Don't be very bad on yourself. You know, we all made the mistakes, especially
I,
when
I'm,
you're
I'm,
entering.
yes.
You know, when you're entering to unknown territory, unknown waters, and you're
Yeah.
trying to swim and you don't know your way around it, then you know it's going to be tough, right? You're going to be dropping in the deep seas and you don't know what to do. But that's why we have this community, and that's why we have these schools, and that's why we have these lives, because we can share other experiences and say, hey, you know what, there is a way for you to get out. And you know, because when someone is depressed and sad that all his investment, all his money that he put in the market is minus 80, it doesn't have a clear state of mind to think, how can I escape this? You're going to be depressed and you're going to look at the screen and say, oh my God, it's minus 80, I've done it again, right? And you feel depressed and you feel helpless and you don't know what to do. And then you have one guy, a Greek guy, and he's coming telling you, hey, there's one way you can do DCA. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? What are you talking about? And say, yeah, I mean, there's a way. I mean, you know. And then you say, okay. And then, you know, you're going to put a plan down and say, okay, what do I need to do? How do I do this? Okay, how do I understand this? Okay, what's the strategy? What's the procedure? Well, okay, what do I look for? Blah, blah, blah. When's the right time? And then when you gather all this information, then you have a plan and say, okay, I'm waiting like a sniper. And when you get the lowest at the bottom, the local bottom, say, okay, it looks like this is the bottom. It cannot go any lower. I'm going to grab that position to correct my old mistake. And then all I need after the DCA, maybe I need a 20%. 20% is not that bad. It can give it to you. An altcoin will give you 20%, a 10% or 15%. And I said, okay, all I have to do now is wait. And then as long as it goes higher, just a little bit, you're right, like 5%, make sure that you cover all the expenses as well, right? Get out with some profit, like truly break even, not at zero. When you get a zero on the exchange, it's not really break even. You need to go a little bit high, like 2 or 3% to cover the expenses, because you need to pay your entry fees, your exit fees, you need to cover your leverage fees, your maintenance fees, everything, right? So for you, in order for you to be like truly breaking even, make sure that you are just around 5% in profit, and then get out and say, hey, I'm you know, I broke free. I release myself from these old black heavy chains from my neck, right? I broke the chains, and now I have the money, and then I can invest it in other projects that this time they have a better run.
If I may ask, right, when you're DCAing, of course, we've got a calculator to use, right? But from
Right,
a
yeah.
price range perspective, do I still have to go and do more analysis? Because obviously, say if it's gone 80% or even 50 or whatever, can I just take it on the same price or lower, or do I need to do another, TA to understand?
You have to do a TA analysis on a weekly, on a 3-day, use the higher time frames to see if you are in close in the bottom. Right now, on the 3 days, telling me, you know, we are approaching a low area. It's not the very bottom, right? I got the ASO red here. It's telling me that we are approaching the red area. I see a support resistance here, so I do expect. I mean, look, let's go to the weekly. And then the weekly is telling me there is some more room to go down, right? Look at the weekly. It's telling me that there's more room to go down. RSI is dropping, stochastic RSI is dropping, ASO is dropping, right? We haven't crossed yet. I said, okay, you know what? Maybe there's some more room. So it's going to take a bit longer to get down here, right? So when I get the red one above and losing it, I say, okay, this is a time that I need to look at DCA. What's the price? Oh, okay, 006. Okay. Now I know the previous price, the mistaken price. Now I got the second price. If you got these two values and you know how much you put in here in money, let's say you put $500. Then when you get this price, you know exactly how much do you need to bring with that calculator that I gave you. You have the ability to identify how much it's going to cost you to bring it as low as possible. So if on the next move, even 5, 10%, 15%, you're going to be out of the deep waters and say, hey, okay, I made it on the seaside now. It's time for me to get dry. So yeah, this is what I will do. You need to do a TA on a higher time frame to get a conviction whereabouts it's the bottom for you to do the DCA, because it's very important that you don't DCA all the time in the wrong areas, right? It doesn't make any sense. It won't help you at all. Trying to, let's say this is your first price, you entered here, right? And since then that you entered, it's going downwards, and then let's DCA here, and then the price goes even further down, right? It's like a disaster. You're going to need another DCA approach again. So make sure that when you DCA as bottom as possible for you to get the advantage of it, right? Because you need to correct the mistake, right? Not create another mistake on the top of another one. Because if you start now with $500 up here, your first position, your DCA needs to be at least equal to the same amount, at least, right? But if you need to, depends how much the percentage will be. Maybe you're going to drop by 50%, right? Discount from the distance that you have. So if you from here to there, you're minus 80, right? Let's say that this is minus 80. If you put the same amount, you double your amount, you're going to get a 50% discount. So that means your minus 80 now is going to look minus 40. And maybe 40% is too high. They say, oh shoot, I can't, because I need more than, remember, when the price is minus 5%, you need a 5.1% up move for you to be breaking even. And so if you minus 10%, you need at least a positive 11%, right, to break even. So if you minus 40, you understand that you're going to need more than 100% for you to break even, no, around 100%. Right, for you to break even. So maybe minus 40 is not good enough for you. So maybe you're going to put $1,000 in there to bring that down to minus 10% and say, okay, if I go to minus 10%, that means I need 11% to break even. But if you make that mistake, right, and you put $1,000, you put it down to minus 10, and then that goes even further down. You're going to need, if you want to DCA for the second time, you're going to need more money, because your position now is larger, right? Your position is going to be 1,500. For you to DCA, you're going to need at least 1,500 to DCA for the second time. So you need to be very careful, because it matters how much is your first position. It matters how much is going to be your second position for you to tackle for the third time. So you need to be very careful with your numbers, right? And with your TA. And that's why you need to look on a higher time frame to get a higher conviction. High time frame has less noise, will not give you a fake signals. If you've seen the market on the monthly, you can use a weekly. Use a weekly and say, okay, you know what, this is not ready yet to go down. It's not yet. It's not yet. It's not the end of it, of the down move, of the correction, right? And monitor it with the 3 days as well. Okay, what's going on with the 3 days? Okay, 3 days gave you a local, so to say, bottom here, but RSI was still dropping. ASI hasn't reversed yet. I said, okay, there's a possibility that I want to go a bit further down, right? Why? Because ASI hasn't turned yet. RSI is still dropping. We've got another cross down, right? RSI has not reached the lows yet, and then you can monitor it every day, or every hour of the day. You're gonna monitor it. What about the weekly? Weekly, okay. Weekly still, I get some more move to go down, right? So you get your lines. I say, okay, I'm thinking that maybe that the target will be around this area, right? Around this area. So that will be the target. So you're gonna wait until when you get the indications as well to help you out with it, right? So I don't want to go for it.
Sorry, So what I'm understanding, if correct me, please. So what we are saying is that if a coin has gone lower, like in this case 50, 80, whatever, right? So
Yeah.
DCA, the first DCA is quite important. Is the one that I should DCA heavily
Yeah.
to bring
Well,
it in line to try and break even.
yeah, I mean, you're going to use a calculator and see how much you can DCA in,
Also,
because
that calculator can also, I'm not in front of my computer, so I can actually input the numbers and then see what I get.
yes,
You guide me really.
you need to put the first amount, the first price that you got in, and then
Okay.
you need to put down your investment.
Right, I
Right.
got you. Okay.
And on the second row below it, you need to put the price that you have here, the current price. So it's going to tell you what is your current position, and then on the right of the calculator, it's going to give you all the amounts that you need to put in to have the targeted percentage that you wish to go for, like
Oh,
minus
sweet.
10, minus
Okay.
20, minus 50, and stuff like that, right? But it's very important for you that you're going to DCA once and make it right from the
Because if
first
it
time.
goes down again.
Exactly, because if it goes lower, then it means you need to bring more fresh money.
More pressure. Yes.
Yeah, and even more. It's going to cost you more.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to use another example because I need to carry on. I've got another question here, if you don't mind. I got Boomer.
That's fine. Thank you. You've answered my question anyway. I appreciate that.
Okay,
Hello.
good.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to help with Boomer because Boomer had another problem that most of us have the same problem. Right? That you go into exchange. So I'm going to use the one exchange. Doesn't matter which one it is. So I'm going to log in. I'm going to log in right now. I get the authorization. Here we are. And I'm going to do a little example. I'm going to do 10x. I always make sure that I go on 10x. Okay, let's pretend this is Bitcoin. Let's go to a smaller time frame, 5 minutes. Okay. It looks like it wants to drop down, even better. Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, let's use the 3 minutes, right? And let's pretend that I want to go now a little bit long, right? So I'm gonna go leverage, and I want to put down, right, $100, right? And I'm gonna put on 10x, and I'm gonna go for long. So I'm gonna click one lower price, and then I'm gonna go buy. And it's been executed. Lovely, nice. Right now I'm in Bitcoin in long. Okay, why? Because for XYZ reasons, right? Stochastic size at the bottom is doing cross up, so I know it's going to do one leg to the up. I don't know how far. We'll go up, and then it goes up, right? And then you have that little nice little sign here. It's telling you, hey, you are not on pipe. Thank you. Here we are. You are in 0.2% profit, right? And everybody's like, cool, right? And the thing that you don't realize is, you know that you put $100, right? But because you put a 10x leverage, how does that exchange use that? How does it calculate it? What they usually do is they take you $100 that you want to use, and they're going to divide it with your leverage, right? So what happens is you end up going in. So let me use the example here. A lot of people had that problem in the past. So they believe that they went in with $100, right? And whatever profit they make, whatever percentage they get from that up move, they believe that it's the percentage that's going to go into the investment that they made, right? But some exchange will do the opposite. What happens is they said, This is, you see what it says here? It says cost, right, on that exchange. It's gonna, I put it manually that it's gonna cost me $100. That means I'm gonna go in with $100 in the end of the day, right? I'm entering, it's gonna cost me $100. So Bitget knows that my position will be, right, $100 times 10x, right? Because that's the leverage that I use. So my position is supposed to be $1,000. So I borrowed 900 actually, right? This is a month. I put $100 with my own money. I put a 10x, which means I borrow $900. So my position for the market, it looks like 1,000. So if you go down and scroll down, and let me zoom in a little bit. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I can zoom. Have a look at what it says here on the position. It says 949. Not exactly 100, right? Because my margin, by the time that I execute the price, I got in with $94.90. Take out and the fees that I had to pay as well, right? So for Bitcoin, I gave out $100, but I got in with 94. So my position is 949. So far, so good. Other exchanges, when you put a price here, which is not a cost. Now, let me see if I got a setting somewhere. Some exchange will have a setting to tell you that number here, if it's going to be a cost or is it going to be a nominal value or a quantity, right? So if I put a nominal value, right, and if I put $100 there, what the exchange will do is going to take these as my position size and not the cost that I want to go in with. All right. So make sure that you have changed the setting on the exchange, that you want to make sure that is the number that you're going to put the dollars is going to be the cost. So you're entering with $100, not as a position. You're going to take actually $100 from your wallet, right? So that's the little mistake or misunderstanding that a lot of people get. You know, they put $100 there and they believe that they're taking out $100 from their wallet. If you don't change that setting, that's not the case. You're telling it that you want to have $100 position. And then if you put a 10x, then automatically the exchange will divide that. They said, okay, he wants to have $100 position and he wants to use a 10x. That means we're going to use his $10. So you enter with $10, then it goes up by 5% or 50%. You're very, very happy that 50%, right? You're excited. You exit it, and that 50% was only $5. And you're like, hold on a minute. I just put $100 in. Why did I gain only $5? And that's where my little friend Boomer here experienced. So make sure that any exchange that you're using, right, that's a Bitget exchange. By default, it is not on cost. I believe it's on nominal value, right? So that means the position that you're looking for. So if you want to go with $100, then you have to do the calculation. So, okay, I need to go in with $100 and then I'm doing a 10x leverage. Then I need to have $1,000 position. And then the exchange will do the automatically how much it's going to cost you. Look at that. I put $1,000 here and look what does it say here. Oh, you know what? It's going to cost you $100 for you to have the 1,000 position because you use a 10x leverage. If I change the leverage to a high number, 50, right? Confirm. Then to have $1,000 position into the market on a 50x, it's going to cost me $20. So that means I'm entering with $20 alone, right? So it is not about being correct, Tracky and Boomer. What it is, you need to understand how you want the exchange to use that number as a position size or as the money that you want to get from your wallet. All right, this is the misunderstanding. What I like to do is I like to make it as a cost based. So any number that I put here, I know exactly that's going to come out from my wallet, right? So if I put $100 here, right, and I'm going to 50x, that means my position will be, right, it's going to be like $5,000, right? So I understand now that I'm going to put on $100 that comes out of my wallet. So I know my numbers. I'm doing a 50x. So down here we'll print a $50,000 position, which means $100 is my own money, right? And the remaining $4,900, it's the money that I borrowed from the exchange. And I made a mistake now because I'm using I'm using cross, and it automatically update the leverage. I saw the 50x here and I got like, what? But anyway, let it go up, and then I'm gonna drop it down. I don't like 50x. Doesn't matter if if the indicator is telling me that it's gonna go higher. I don't trust 50x. Never, 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 never. Right. So as long as it's gonna go into a little bit into green, into 1 minute. Let's have a look. Yeah. Well. Anyway, I can change that anyway. So I'm gonna change that leverage down into 10x, whatever. Here we are. And there's a limited amount of times you can do that. You cannot keep on changing the cross all the time, I believe. But yeah, this is how you do it on the exchange. Make sure that that is turned into the right correct setting. So if it's a cost, you understand that you're putting down $100 from your own wallet. If it's moved into the nominal value, that means you are indicating the position size you wish to have. Okay, so that's it. That's for the example here. All right. So here we are. Anyway, I'm not worried about that trade. That was an example. It was only a very small amount of money, so it's going to be okay. Good, good. That's why you get only pennies. Exactly. Exactly. Right. So make sure that you go in with cost, and then the percentage that you're looking at is based on the money that you put in, not as a position. Yes, there is. I mean, if you're going into the isolated, now I can't change because I'm already inside in the trade, but you go into isolated, right? And then it's going to pop up with a question. Right now, it doesn't let me do it. It's going to come up with a warning that says, oh, you cannot do that because you're already in a trade. So I'm going to lose 30 cents. I'm going to close that trade. Flash close. Yeah, I don't care. So now I can change that to isolated, right? And then it's going to be there always isolated. But every time that you're entering a new token, right? This is Bitcoin. If I go to another token, let's go into XRP, which I don't trade XRP. Look what happens. It goes back to cross. So be careful that every time you're shifting tokens, make sure that you're back into isolated and the leverage that you wish. Because if I go to another one now, I don't know, any random Litecoin, LTC, it's still cross. If I go this isolated, right, it's correct. But if I go back to XRP again, it's going to turn to cross. So be aware of that. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Okay, cool. So, how long will be going on? For 2 hours. Okay, that's a bit longer, as expected, as usual. It's usual for me to do 2 hours. It's easy. Okay, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. If you've got any other questions, go for it. Right? That's what we're here for. That's why we do these live sessions. The other trade that I have here was Pyth. All right, Pyth was looking good. Let's go to Pyth. Now, Pyth was looking good for the time, and after that I entered, it was showing some weakness. So I believed that I got entered around that area here. So if I put order history, yeah, you can see that that's the entry, the arrow. So I got around that area. So let's go to a higher time frame. Basically, it's squeezing up now, so it's doing squeezing. So let's go to 4 hours and have a look. Unfortunately, Bitget doesn't give you the ASO, right? So I only have stochastic RSI and RSI. So what happens now is on the squeeze, right? So this is what we have here, right? And this is another one there. So yeah, we button up and down and up and down and up and down. So it was quite bullish back then when I entered. So when you can see the price actions going up, going up, going up, going up, it's giving you higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, right? So we are in a squeeze kind of type of situation here because you're getting all these lows highs and then all these highs are getting lows, right? So getting lower and lower. So we're going to see how that's going to play out later on. If Bitcoin stays like sideways, then the altcoin will have the time to move. Pyth is one of these tokens that it wants to go higher when others are still dropping down, right? So if I go into 3 days, right, you can see what it's doing, right? That's the very bottom, goes up, correction goes up, correction goes up. It's doing some correction. Then, maybe it's going to try to push one more time. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It's reaching the same area of struggling in this area. Look on the left, it's struggling in this area. That was an evidence that it wants to break it. Obviously, it got rejected, but there's evidence that it wants to break it, wants to go above. And let's see if we manage to go above. If not, and it's going to lose that, then it's going to come back to this area. I'll exit. If I lose that wage, I'm going to exit, take the small loss, and then I will enter a lower, right, when these RSIs will reset. RSI is not yet on the extreme, so maybe there's a small push to the up. On the daily, still I've got a green candle. We'll see how it goes. Not panicking, planning and executing, and reacting to the markets of what the market's going to give you to you, right? You cannot predict, you cannot try to guess which way it's going to go. You can't do that. Can you call this a bear flag or bull flag? You can't, right? You need to see which way it's going to break. So far on the 4 hour, it looks like it wants to push a bit higher. So if it breaks higher, that will be good. I'll be in profit. If I see another weakness spot, right? Let's say that it comes up here, and then comes back again, and then creates again a lower high, right? Then maybe I will close that trade and say, okay, you know what? It has no intention to break this high. It's getting weak again. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Any other tokens that you're looking for, guys? Let's have a look. Let's have a look who's moving. Let's have a look. Do they have futures overview? Let's have a look. Futures overview. Let's have a see if we got any gainers and losers and stuff like that. Let's have a look. Trading total volume. Pepper has volume. Meme coins. Gainers. Manta 7%. Okay. Trading. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, ETH. Okay. Let's have a look on Manta. Or Marv. Let's find this one. Let's have a look on this one. Okay. Now sometimes, when you want to make some quick cash, you just need to find a token that is moving, right? So you want to look for a mover. So go to a higher time frame. Start with a higher time frame. See, okay, what's going on here? Look at that, like a U shape, a huge U shape. Okay, so let's go to 1 day. Okay. Even on 1 day, it's telling me that it's under pressure. It's having a hard time on the daily, that RSI, to drop below these levels. So I pay attention to that. Okay. And also, stochastic RSI is still high. Let me bring that back up here. So we got a cross up so far. So we had a cross down and then we've got a cross up. So it's trying to push to go up to 100. So that's why the price is pushing. Alright, so here we are. It's pushing. I go to 15 minutes. Can I find a level on the 15 minutes? Yeah, that is a little bit too late for us. We need to wait for another little wave, right? I mean, look at the stochastic RSI in the 15 minute. Where is the lowest point? That is the lowest point on the 15 minute. Look where it is now. So right now, I'm not looking too long into this one. It's giving me a kind of divergence, right? Stochastic RSI is dropping. RSI, okay, RSI. The second high is lower than the first one, right? Look at that. So maybe this is where a lot of people will get trapped. This is where the FOMO comes in. They see all this up move, right? And say, oh, it's going up, it's going up. Well, let's grab it. And then, they don't see the divergence going on here. So we've got a warning sign here. So maybe we can short that. Maybe. We'll see. If Bitcoin stops dropping, that will go down. So I can monitor that for a short. Let's see how far will it go. It's gonna push one more time. The 5 minutes telling me that's gonna push a little bit back, but the 15 minute is telling me that there's a divergence going on. So the 15 minute will win in the end of the day. So the 5 minutes telling me that's gonna push a little bit more. Okay, fine, no problem. Let's see how that goes. Let's see if we can change the divergence. Let's see. But it's always a waiting game. Alright, remember that it's always a waiting game. So we got a rejection here. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like the power of 3 there. It looks like the power of 3 here. We played out that pattern. What's the power of 3 pattern? The pattern is when you have price doing accumulation, then it's doing a manipulation. It's giving you an idea that it wants to go down, and then it's doing the distribution the other way around. So on a smaller time frame, this is what played here. The power of 3. Okay. So if we are interested to go long on this one, I'll wait to come back to a nice level of support into this area if we get a chance, right? Because it broke the range, retested a little bit here, so I can't trace that. I can't trace that. No, I can't trace that. Anyway, the 1 minute is telling me that it wants to come down, so let it come down and see if it wants to stay here as a support. Do you have a tip that helps identify divergence easily? Well, is compare on a higher time frame. This is the 1 minute right now, but you need to compare on a higher time frame like the 15 or the daily. And you need to see the opposite happening with the price action with the indicator. So if the indicator is printing you high highs while the the price action is giving you high highs while the indicator is giving you low highs, right? That's divergence. And usually it's the who you're gonna trust. Which, I mean, you see the divergence, but who you're gonna trust? Are you gonna trust the price action, or are you gonna trust the indicator? Usually is the indicator. So let these indicators reset. So if I want to go long for a couple minutes, right? Because it's the 1 minute, so maybe for the next another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever. It's a very short-term trade. So I like to enter at the very bottom of that RSI, and that stochastic RSI at the very bottom. So I'm going to wait patiently when this come down and reset. A waiting game. But because it's in 1 minute, it's not going to take very long, right? It's going to be like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But I'll wait. Right, I'll wait for the conditions to come to the right areas that I'm interested in. Don't panic, don't follow in, nothing. Right, just wait. Now the PA, the price action is king, right? But when the indicator is telling you that the pressure is dropping, it's a hidden message, so to say, behind the price action. It's like manipulation. Think of manipulation. Traders can manipulate the price, they cannot manipulate the volume, if that makes sense. So, big traders, large traders, they can push a little bit the price up. But to sustain that price action, you need to have volume. So it means they need to have real fans behind it to really push it. It's not just by throwing 1 million in 1 second. Yeah, that will spike the price up, but if you have a lot of sellers at the same time, that 1 million you put there is nothing. So you don't have the volume. You cannot manipulate the volume. You can manipulate a little bit the price for a little while. So that's why you get the divergence. So when the indicators are telling you it's getting weaker, it's reading the volume, it's reading other kind of aspects behind it, the metrics. So that's why sometimes I say, yes, price action is a king, but okay, let's have a look. So I'm not interested to enter, even if it goes higher. I'm not interested to go enter. If I get a cross up, no. My snapper entry will be at the very bottom. It has to be at the very bottom. So that's why I'll mark with that blue line on the RSI or the 1 minute, right? This is the 1 minute. I said, where do I get the majority of the lows that's getting reversed? So average. So around these areas, right? Around these areas, majority of the times I get reversed. Sometimes it goes a bit below, it's all right, but average. So I say, okay, this is the area that I'm interested. So here it is. You mark the area. And all I want is to make sure that, I get the best chance. So the best chance for me is to have the RSI all the way down. Right? And I want RSI to hit that bottom line or even lower, even better. And then when I get the stochastic RSI cross up, then, we'll see what the price action is going to print. even that the indicators, giving you an uptrend, and then you're looking, to hit the bottom for you to go for the next leg up. It is true, but you need to look out for the patterns as well, right? Don't be blind. So currently that high is failing to break that high, so I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see how far will it go. Will it respect that? We'll see. And I'm not going to stay very long. It's already 1:30, so I'm already here like for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm going to stay for another 15 minutes or to say, let's see if we can have a small play here. RSI is not even coming close, so I'm not interested yet. So here you have a question of, did you break that trend? And are you trying to retest it? Right. We get these high, low, low, right? So you can understand this is not a right time for you to go long. Even that the stochastic RSI is at the bottom, RSI, yeah, no, that we're in the middle of nowhere. So let's see. MAV, what's MAV? Let's have a look what MAV is. Let's do a little bit. Let's have a look what MAV is. While the price action, we're waiting for the price action. Let's have a look on MAV. MAV, what is it? Maverick Protocol. Okay. What are you? Okay, it's under the Ethereum chain. What's the market cap? Market cap is 191 million. Not bad. What the market cap? Alright, so the market cap, let's have a look on the past 3 months. Just keep on rising, that's good. So
Alice, I'm not sure we can see your screen. I think it's still on your trading
yeah,
view.
I know. I'm just having
sorry.
the side screen and I'm looking what's going on with the
Oh,
MAV.
okay. Sorry.
So I was looking at market cap to see if I can see the, I select the market cap to see if it's increasing. So I know that investors are keep on putting money into it, right? Now and then you do get some flash, you get some people taking profits, but it's keep on overall for the past not 1 year, but the past 6 months, it's keep on rising. So since August, September, October is rising, right? A steep turn around October, November. Keep on rising. The market cap 191 million. It's not too bad. Is under the contract is under the Ethereum network. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So yeah. So I'm gonna wait. The reason that I was using the other screen is because I'm monitoring. At the same time, I was as I read, I'm monitoring the price action, see what's going on. What it's doing. Now, stochastic RSI for this example is telling you that it wants to push one more time to the up. So you get a small leg up, right? So you cannot ignore this. But however, it's not the best setup for you to enter. The best setup is for you when the RSI is going to be at the very bottom. And take this that example, right? When you got both of them at the very bottom, that's where my strategy is based. When both of them are reversing at the very bottom, this is where you get the best setup for you to enjoy your ride, right? Here is trying to build a support and resistance area on a smaller time frame, right? It came here, bounced from here, that goes above, and then it's building like a small structure here, a smaller time frame. Stochastic RSI is telling me that yeah, it wants to push higher. We'll see. We are getting the retest of that trend line, the break of that trend line. We'll see. But RSI is like in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't give me the best, example right now for me to enter. So even if it goes higher, I just ignore it a little bit. Right? Why? Because I don't know for how far we'll go. Right? If you go as low as possible to these areas, right, which is down here, and if I go to this area here, which is that one here, right, which is down here. So every time that it goes close to the bottom, you get a nice waves. Anything in between, right, when you got a cross up, when the RSI is like somewhere in between, you do get a little waves, but small ones, right? I'm not risking, my time and money and my position to these little waves. I need to have a solid waves. So just observe and see, how important it is when you're hitting the very bottom. Look what happens afterwards, right? Very bottom, look what happened afterwards. Right, very bottom, look what happened afterwards. And then you within the day you can have like 3-4 trades and then let's measure this. You can get a few percentages from here to there, 1.5% for 1 hour. If you do a 10x that's 15%. So you've got 15% within an hour. That is based on 1 minute, right? And you're trying to keep it nice and clean and short, right? You're using the 1 minute, that means as soon as you break that trend line, you're out. And then you take for the next ride, right? You take that trade, you entered here, and you're gonna exit when it's gonna get broken. Alright, that got broken, you got out, and then you got another chance to enter again here. If you're using another time from like 3 minutes, then you're gonna have a longer exposure. You're gonna stay here longer, but again, the same rules apply. Right, the longer the higher the time frame, the longer it takes for the RSI to come down here to the bottom. But look at that, RSI at the very bottom, very low, stochastic RSI at the very bottom, boom, right? And you just draw a trend line, maybe from here to there, right? And that will be your exit point if you follow this trend line. And then you wait for another opportunity when RSI again is low as possible, stochastic RSI crossing, right? And then you're entering. This line, that blue line, is the low for the 1 minute. So if you go into 3 minutes, make sure that you draw a line for the 3 minutes, right? Where are the possible lows on the RSI? If you don't get a line and you get a trend line, do that as well and say, hey, it's an uptrend. Here we are. Every time it's going to touch that trend line, there's a higher chance that it's going to bounce from here. All right. So here it is, as close as possible to the line, close to the line, close to the line, with the alignment of the stochastic RSI, right? Stochastic RSI at the very bottom. You've got that line here, so here's your another entry. So see what happens, after when you get these two things aligned. And imagine if you can have ASO. So what I usually do is on the next screen to my left, I have the same token on the same time frame for the same exchange for a Bitgate, right? I'm using TradingView, which I have all the indicators up there, and I just monitor that, and I'm just waiting. So yeah, I'm still waiting for that. Still dropping. You see, I'm not panicking. Dropping stochastic RSI. The 3 minutes is telling me I want to go down. RSI may break that trend line. May. Right. So that's why you don't panic and you don't FOMO in. You don't rush in, because this is what happens. Right. Let's see. Let's see. And usually when it's uptrend, I'm trading up direction, right? I'm not shorting right now. But according to the indicators, I knew that's going to go down, but there's no way I'm shorting. If the token is uptrend, you're looking for longs. You're trying to maximize your direction, your stay into the in the market. So if it's an uptrend, look how big is the up wave and look how small is the down wave. Bigger, smaller, right? You've got a bigger one and you're going to have a smaller one. So don't try to short an uptrend. If it's an uptrend, just let it come back, reset to a nice level, when everything's going to be resetted, and then you have another chance for you to get in. On Link, okay, let's have a look on Link. Okay. We are very bullish on Link. It's breaking the two ranges, isn't it? Range goes up, range goes up. Oh, look at that. Eee, lovely. So he's where it's going to target. He's going to target that area here. Hello. Right, okay. So you need to get in on that one, don't you? I guess you are. Marv's turning. Now, since I moved away from Marv, Marv's turning. Marvelous. Thank you, Marv. Maverick. Okay. It's quite funny. You know, it's somehow they see you. As soon as you put your eyes away from it, it moves. Sneaky. Right, okay. So, can I have a brush here, please? Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, just wait for... No, this is not a good entry right now. Even on the 15-minute, right? I know that you want to go up with it. So wait a little bit and just wait to come back into that purple box. So wait for the RSI to come down to that red line, blue line. The blue line is on 31 level on the 15-minute, right? So mark this down. So you have the stochastic RSI on 31 on the 15-minute, and then stochastic RSI is still high and wants to cross down. Is it crossed out? Is it crossed out? Yeah, is it crossed out? Well, he's fighting for it. Yeah, crossed out. Maybe, yes, no. Wants to go down, wants to go parallel, wants to go flat. He's trying to make up his mind. Yeah, I mean, the good example here, your entry will be... where's my brush? Here we are. Your best entry will be down here, right? So that will be your entry down there. And that happened 5 o'clock in the morning, so 3 o'clock your time, so you'll be sleeping by that time. I know you were asleep. Or were you? No? You weren't sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning? You were out clubbing? But yeah, no. Stochastic RSI on the high band, on the 80s. Stochastic RSI again is overbought, so maybe we're going to have a small leg to the down. Good old days. La La Land. Yeah, no. La La Land. No, it's been many years I've been out clubbing, especially not in Cyprus, but in Greece and in London as well. I used to go to South Bank. I used to go to Ministry of Sound a lot. Fabric was another one that I used to like. Warehouse. I got Sinatra's down in Croydon. That was another one. So yeah, I'll wait for that to come down and I'll see if I get a reset. When I get a reset, that will be the time for me to enter. So wait for it. Space Ibiza. Yeah. Amnesia House. Oh my god. I used to DJ back in the day. I wasn't DJing in London. It was very hard to get into London. You see, when you get into the DJ gang, so to say, they have to start you with in the countryside. So when I first started DJing, they took me on the other side of the country. Literally, they took me down to Plymouth. It was so funny, but it was a club in Plymouth called Oz, and it was my first initial play. And I took the middle spot, not the opening, but not the closing, obviously. But I got the second spot into the DJ set. It went quite well. I made the people go mad. Age. I'm not worried about age. I'm 45. What are you talking about? It's just a number. I still got tunes playing on the background, but these tunes that I play are not the tunes that I usually like, right? It's not my kind of style, but it are the only ones that will not get flagged by YouTube. So it's like royalty-free dance music that have no rights, so it will not get flagged on YouTube. Otherwise, you're gonna hear other kind of songs. Right, okay, cool. So it's showing some signs of weakness. So Jackie, that will be the area. I said TA. It looks like I want to come down to this area, right? And wait if while the price action is going to come down to this area, wait and see if the indicators will come down here. If the price action it comes here, but the indicators are still halfway, then you need to target other levels, right? So mark your areas and say, okay, what's the possibility entry? A, B, C, right? Until when you get all of them at the very bottom and reversing. And that will be the chance for you to go in, right? You need to sleep 7 hours. Yeah, I know. How many hours did I sleep yesterday? Let's have a look. What does my watch say? Okay, yeah, it wasn't a good one. No, I'm not proud of that. No, it's very bad. 3 hours and 36 minutes. And my deep sleep was only 37 minutes. And night sleep 2 hours and a half. Yeah. So my sleeping score was only 60. Not a good one. Oh, sorry, 47. 60 is my average. Yesterday was 47, so not a good one. All right. Okay, guys, it's almost 2 o'clock. I have to go. I have a production to go to. I have a football match today. So, you see, I can't get away from sound, right? You see, so I'm a sound audio engineer, so I have to go to do these TV production stuff like that. You're more than welcome, guys. Much love out there. Be careful. right? If you're looking for entries, just use the two indicators to give you a direction, right? The higher time frame, well, higher time frame is 15 minutes, but yeah, it's going to give you good conviction, right? It's going to give you good levels for you to enter. Because what's the point? What's the secret behind it? You need to make sure that you enter as low as possible for you to ride a nice percentage. If you're going to jump right now here, you don't know how far we'll go even more. Will it go another 5%? Will it go another 10%? Will it go 20%? Or will it go shooting down 1% later, right? So it's quite risky for you to get in right now. That's the little trick with the indicator. So when you get to the bottom of it, right? That means you have a pretty good chance to have a good, nice percentage run. That's all it matters, and that's why it counts for us, percentage, right? So be careful out there. Stick to the rules, stick to the conditions, and you're gonna be good. And the higher the time frame, the better, right? Like even a weekly, if you can afford it, monthly, weekly, 3 days, whatever, it's gonna be looking good. So wait for it. For the right moment, and then you grab an entry and then go have it on a higher time frame. Go to 1 hour and see what it's doing. Even the 1 hour is telling you that it's overexposed. It's okay, yeah, okay. 15 minutes telling me it's overexposed. 1 hour is telling me it's overexposed. What about the 2 hours? Yeah, over the 2 hours is telling you it's reaching the highs. Okay, that doesn't look really good, doesn't it? So 4 hours. 4 hours is telling you that it has more room to go higher. So okay, maybe I'm not gonna get that full percentage move, right? The 50% move, but can I get at least a 20%? Yeah, you can get a 20%. But use a 15-minute, right? Use a 15-minute to give you a nice solid guide and say, hey, wait until it comes down, reset, and then grab the 20% that you want until the end of the day, until the 4 hours telling you that it's doing a cross down. So, and takes us more profits. All right. Okay, good. I'm gonna post that on the YouTube. We have a YouTube now channel for the war room, dedicated to the war room. Again, it's hidden. It's gonna be unlisted, and we're gonna have every single one of us. We're gonna have our own playlist. So you're gonna have Carl's playlist, Mo's playlist, Chris' playlist, my playlist. So playlists all over the place for you. Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I really have to go. Thank you very, very much. I hope you found some value today and we had some fun. I know we didn't do a lot of trading, we did a little analysis, but I wanted to make sure that you don't panic with Bitcoin. It's very, very crucial that you stay under control. I know that Bitcoin is doing a range right now, it's giving these weird signals and people are getting confused. I don't know which way they want to go. That is deliberately. This is what they want to do. They want to make sure that they're confusing and you take the wrong action. So that's why you need to go to higher time frames. So that was today's lesson. Look on the higher time frame and you're going to be always in control. Okay. So everyone, every single one of you, thank you very much. Have a good day, evening, afternoon. Right. Jackie, go have some protein. I'm gonna need to hit the gym afterwards as well, but not today. Maybe tomorrow. So anyway, I'll see you soon. If not tomorrow, you're gonna see me on Wednesday. Okay, guys. So take care. Gracias. Gracias. Thank you very much. I play Story in Greek, and I'll see you soon. Very, very, very soon. All right. Good things are coming in. Don't worry. Okay, guys. Take care. Bye bye.